Hey, and welcome to Bush Kiddz. We've got another challenge for you, and this challenge is about knife law or knife carry law. Now, we all know that a knife is a really useful tool when we're in the outdoors and doing our bushcraft, but also it can be very dangerous. And in that regard, we need to be very respectful of using the knife. And we would strongly suggest when children have a knife or they're using a knife that they're fully supervised by the parent, and that the parent really is sensibly supervising the child and being respectfully responsible to allow that child to experience and gain respect for that knife through its safe use. So there's lots of laws in the UK to do with carrying knives and using knives. So I'm just going to tell you very quickly what you are legally able to carry. So in the UK you are able to carry a knife that has a blade that is less than 3 inches long or 7.62 centimeters long and is non-lockable. So just to give you some kind of indication of what that size is, there's 3 inches there. And what I've got here is my Swiss Army knife, and I'm just going to open up the blade very carefully to show you that the Swiss Army knife blade is, of course, less than 3 inches or 7.62 centimeters. When we talk about non-lockable, then what that means is the blade must not be able to be locked when opened. So again, I've got my Swiss Army knife here, and I can open the blade and it clicks into place, but it doesn't lock. And I can also close that. So it's non-lockable. So this is less than 3 inches and it's a non-lockable blade. And therefore, by the law, you are legally able to carry this. So even though you are able to carry a little Swiss Army knife around because its blade is less than 3 inches and it's non-lockable, you shouldn't do that unless you are absolutely supervised by a parent and that you have an absolute use for it. You should certainly not take any kind of knife out with you unsupervised, and definitely not take any kind of knife into school. If the police find you with a knife on you, then you can still get into trouble if they believe that you've not got a proper use for it, or you have it in a place where it could be perceived as dangerous. When the police approach you, they'll be thinking about a number of things. And that is, does this person, me, that's carrying the knife, have permission to use this knife for this use, whatever I'm saying I'm using it for, on this land by this landowner? And if the answer to any of those is no, then I can get into trouble. So it's really important that you have permission to use a knife, whether it's a legal size or not, on the land that you are using it and for the use that it is being used for. So when you're transporting or carrying a knife, the best thing to do is to have that knife tucked right away, right at the bottom of the bag, right at the bottom of the rucksack, that's not easily accessible. And the knife should only be taken out and used in a place that's not around the public, where you have permission to use it for your bushcraft and outdoor use. So any knife or any saw, because this saw has a blade that is much bigger than 3 inches and it's a lockable saw, any knife or saw that is not within the legal carry size and non-lockable should be absolutely kept away at the bottom of the rucksack, at the bottom of the bag, until a point where you are on land where you have express permission to utilise that tool as part of bushcraft or outdoors use, and should not be taken out or be easily accessible in public. So obviously, if in doubt, just don't take it out, don't take the knife out. Keep it at home, use it in the back garden, but do it in and use it in a safe place with supervision. So I will put some links to some further reading on this in the comments below, so that you can, as a parent, start to look at this and just satisfy yourself that you know that you're doing the right thing. As for this challenge, what we'd really like the children to do is to create a poster that confirms their understanding, that is, that a knife is a useful but can be dangerous tool and should be treated with respect, that the legal carry suggests it should not be more than a 3-inch or 7.62 centimetre blade, and it should be non-lockable like a Swiss Army knife. We talked about how the police would approach you and think about whether you have the right to that knife, and that is, does this person, me, have the right to use this tool, this knife, for this use, whatever I'm doing, bushcraft, on this land by this landowner? And you need to be able to say yes to all of those things. And lastly, we talked about carrying the knife and whether it's a legal carry or not. But the best thing there is that the children should never have the knife on their own. They should always be supervised. And if carrying a knife around, please make sure that the knife is not easy accessible. Have it at the bottom of your bag or at the bottom of the backpack until you get to a point where you are safely able to use it and have permission to do so. So get your poster done. Post us the poster to show that you've done it and complete the challenge. And see you all soon.